Hello everybody, today we're doing the part 2 video. We're going to get all these tape seams that we got dug out. They're already taped, so now we're going to do the coating process. I'm going to be coating with a quick set mud. Of course, if you're doing this by yourself and you're not comfortable using quick set muds, just use an all-purpose joint compound. We also have a video part 1 of this and then a video part 3, the texturings part 3. So now we got all the tape dug out. It's time to do a first coat. Since we just dug out this nice trench where the old tape was, all I have to do is strike it in. I'm not sitting here having to blow out heavy joints with a 10 or 12-inch knife. Now I'm just using a 6-inch knife and striking in and filling in the groove that I left. That's the beauty of digging out the old tape. So you get the old tape out of there. It gives you a nice little notch so you can fill it in. It just makes the mudding easier. It just makes the repair go smoothly. It just makes everything clean and nice. You're not sitting here having to float out all these joints, crowning them out, making a big old hump on the wall or ceiling that you put heavy mud on. So you're just doing easy mudding. Your texture is just going to have to go out past your mud area. It just keeps everything easy and small, clean, easy job when you dig out the old tape like this. Of course, not all areas you're going to be able to get tape out. If the cracks go diagonal and stuff like that, those are more stress related. These are the actual joint and butt seams that are cracking out. That's why you're able to dig out the old tape. Sometimes you'll get in a bind though if you try to fix something that's already been repaired, you're going to run into fiberglass mesh tape. That's not as easy to dig out. Sometimes you get lucky, and if you dig deep enough and you didn't get the original paper tape under the repair out, you can dig under and get the fiberglass and the paper tape. But if they fiberglassed over it, then it's not as easy to dig out like this paper tape. Then you're going to have to do more of a C-notch effect. Then you're going to have to float out all your work. But whenever you fix cracks, always try to dig out the seams, get the old seams out, so it just makes your mudding go easier. On here, I'm just using a quick set mud. Of course, like on all my jobs, I have to use these quick set materials because I got to get the job done in one trip. If you're doing this by yourself, just use an all-purpose joint compound. For first coat, you leave it pretty thick. The mud in the box or the bucket's pretty heavy, but you want to kind of mix it up, put a little bit of water in it, mix it up nice and creamy. That would be your first coat mud. Then your second coat mud, you would add a little more water to the mud, mix it up real thoroughly, and then that would be your second coat. Then if you did a third coat, you just added more water. You just thin it down in between every coat. And this, we're not just piling on a bunch of mud. That's why I'm using my 6-inch knife. I'm just basically filling in this groove, doing a tight coat. Everybody thinks you put the mud on super heavy. You're just doing a tight, tight coat. You're just filling it in. That's all the first coat is, just a fill in. Just striking it in. I'm not trying to take the mud past the area. I don't want to have to texture out this whole ceiling just to fix a few seams. Once you get everything coated, if you're using a quick set like me, you're going to have to let it start setting up. Then you're going to slick it out like we do here with the sponge. If you're using a joint compound, you're just going to have to let it dry overnight, turn around, sand it, then do the second process with second coat, and then follow through, let it dry again, then sand it and do a third coat. But with the hot muds, we slick out in between coats. We don't let the mud fully set up. It starts setting up. We have to sponge it and 6-inch knife it. It's called the slick out technique. This technique's only used with hot muds, quick set muds like 5-minute, 20-minute, 40-minute, and 90-minute. So I just use these because it's a stronger material. It's more of a pro grade material. So if you don't know what you're doing, do not use hot muds. Even if you're in a bind to get the job done, just use an all-purpose joint compound. All-purpose joint compounds, the beauty with those, if you're a newbie, beginner, first time doing drywall, if you make a mistake, at least with the joint compound, you can sand away your mistakes. These quick set muds, they're called quick set because once you put the water in it, it activates it and it almost sets up like a cement. So you're working more with a stronger pro grade material with these quickset muds. So stay away from them if you don't know what you're doing. But yeah, basic thing, get it all coated out, and then we're going to follow through with a texture after we get everything coated out. But just watch and learn. It's simple, it's a long video, but this is just what it takes to do it. Of course, this job's going more efficient because I'm working on stilts. I try to use stilts whenever I can on jobs, especially these patios. Patio like this is almost 40 foot, 50 foot long, so that's why I'm using the stilts. If I had to do this ladder work, I'd be up and down a ladder probably 500 times before I even think about texturing. But yeah, just watch it, and we'll kind of guide you in through here. It's just basic watch and learn. Fixing stress cracks on a patio. It'd be the same process if you're fixing stress cracks in the house, in a garage. Nice open patio like this, it's pretty easy to show you because it's just big, nice, open, wide room. Show you how we do it. Basically, you can see the cracks. It's basically like the sheetrock layout that we're fixing. You can see each sheet in between each crack. So just get them all repaired. And then the best thing they could do after they get this all repaired and textured is do a nice primer on it and use a high quality paint. The high quality paint will help protect it from the elements outside. Hot, cold, the wind does a lot of damage to these patios outside. So that's why I have so many patio videos. It's one of my go-to jobs out here because they like to use sheetrock out here. It's just a cheaper alternative in the builder to use sheetrock on these patios than it is to do stucco ceilings or wood lath, shiplap ceilings. So they do stucco on the walls on most houses out here, and then they do the sheetrock on the ceiling. You could do other things besides sheetrock, but it's just more expensive. And when a builder builds a house, they're building it per square foot. So they try to do the cheapest, nicest thing they can do per square foot, money-wise. So that's why they do sheetrock out here. So depending on where you live, you probably don't have sheetrock patios. But out here, it's the most common thing. Everybody has it out here. But when they do have it out here, they just got to protect it with good paint. When it starts peeling like this, you got to fix it right away because it just keeps spreading and goes the full distance of the tape. So that's why you always want to repair your patios. If you start seeing them peeling or cracking, you want to get those dressed right away before they spread all the way across, all the way the width and the length of it. The texture starts peeling. It turns into a big nightmare if you don't get them repaired right away as you see them starting to peel. But yeah, simple video, watch and learn, drywall repairs, easy, easy, easy. I have other videos on the channel like this where we're doing stress cracks, patio repairs, patching, stuff like this, texture matching. Whole lot of videos on the channel. And if you haven't done it already, just go ahead and subscribe. Leave me a comment. And if you have been subscribed and you've been watching the videos, thanks for supporting and thanks for viewing. Once you get everything coated out, 2 times minimum. If you're a noob at drywall, maybe you want to do a tight third coat. Now you're ready for texture. Of course, you may not have this type of texture on the work that you're trying to do, so you could just do a real tight skim coat and just leave it smooth. But if you're trying to match the textures, then you're gonna have to find what you need to match. Of course, here on this is a sand skip trowel, so we got to match it with this skip trowel. Your project may not have this type of texture, but the repair process is the same. Getting it ready for texture. The texture is just cosmetic. Basically, if I paint it now and my seams are perfectly smooth, perfect, then it's ready for texture. Everybody thinks texturing is there to coat. Texture is just a cosmetic finish. Your mudding, first coat, second coat, and third coat, that's almost like a finished product. Nice and smooth, perfect. Texture just goes on. It's not there to fill in, hide all your imperfections. So you just want to get all the seams and all the repairs perfectly smooth. Everything looks nice, and then you're ready for texture. But yeah, next video will be texturing with a sand skip trowel. Thanks for viewing.